The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily representative of the coalition or any other entity. This content is intended for mature audiences only.
What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 150. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and today I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
No, too sexy.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Brian Manjoma.
It was good.
Brett Murdoch. Howdy, everyone. Adam Vale.
It's Metroid Thursday.
Nice. All right, and we got two very special guests with us. First one is one of the founders, not co-founders, one of the founders of Throwdown. My man, Riku's son one, the only one.
What's good, people? What's good? Back in this bitch.
And we got a very special guest. We haven't had this cat on in a long time, and it's been overdue. Our good friend, Mr. Malik Forté.
What's cracking, everybody?
All right, man.
I'm the one, the only one, the youngest.
Yeah, he's the youngest. Yeah, I'm not the youngest no more, son.
Wait, how do you de-age, son?
Man, don't worry about it.
Okay, all right, man. So we're gonna have a fun show for you, but since we got these cats here, it's been a while. Let's catch up. So, Riku, what have you been up to lately, man? How's life been? How's gaming been, bro?
Let's just keep it to gaming, because life is a fucking roller coaster. But gaming, man, Tony, man, I'm diving deep in some motherfucking RPGs.
My man.
And some turn-based RPGs in particular. I've been diving deep in them. So yeah, I finished Final Fantasy 1 and 2. I'm about to hop into 3. I think they just had a Final Fantasy sale, so I grabbed 3 and 4. And I want to hop into Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, Vagrant Story, all of the crazy ones that I missed out on. So I'm just keeping it the classics right now. Destiny just came out.
Vagrant's a good one, man.
You said which one?
Vagrant's a good one, man.
Vagrant Story. Yeah, I heard good things about that. What weren't people saying that universe is related to Final Fantasy 12 in some way or some shit like that?
No, it's Final Fantasy Tactics that's related to it.
Yeah. Final Fantasy
I heard it was
part
all
of that though. Evil East and shit, right? Yeah. By the way, I need people to understand this context, right? When I first met Riku back in the day, he was the Japanese guy, right? The Japanese correspondent over at SCFU. So we started asking him about Japanese RPGs. He's like, I never played any of those. I'm like, how are you gonna be a Japanese correspondent guy? You never played any fucking RPGs,
I played the Japanese games. I just didn't play the RPG games. I played the hack and slashes and the this and the that's and the action RPGs, but not the turn-based ones.
Yeah, but and now look at you, man. Now you're a real how do you pronounce? Okay, I've always written this word. Adam and I were talking about this, but I never actually said it. Weeaboo.
Weeaboo. I think the A is silent. Weeaboo.
No, short. I always weeb.
It's weeb, right?
Yeah, it's just weeb.
You're not really a weeb,
No. I always liked turn-based JRPGs. When it came to hack and slash and action RPGs, I always chose those over the turn-based RPGs, especially since back in the day, we all can vouch for this. Back in the day, if you got lost in the game, if you didn't have a strategy guide or a friend to tell you, and you weren't willing to sit there and figure that shit out yourself, nigga, you done. You're not figuring that shit out. You either gonna give up or you gonna figure that shit out. And back in the day, I had a short attention span, man. I got lost. A lot of those games, man, have a lot of backtracking. So if you get lost, man, you're screwed. You're screwed. So a lot of the times I would kind of stay away from, not really stay away from them. Like I said, just choose other hack and slash or action RPG games over them. I would just only play like fucking Pokemon. And even though that's considered a turn-based RPG, I don't want to consider that.
That's baby's first RPG.
That's baby. Exactly. That's baby's turn-based RPG.
But I just want to say I'm proud of you, man. Now you become a fully fledged, like a more well-rounded gamer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, not a lot of people want to go back, man. They're like, oh, it's old. I'm like, yeah, you guess what? You a faggot. So we throwing out facts.
Jeez, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, we going in, son. Yeah.
Riku says the thing we won't say on Throwdown.
This guy.
Views and opinions of
Yo, Malik, now you know where we got that disclaimer in the front. You know,
Throwdown podcast.
This is why Riku was kicked off, son. I'm just kidding.
yeah, we're not PewDiePie. Oh my god, I'm not gonna get started on that. We said enough. He's a fucking idiot. Okay. Anyway, Riku, I was about to get sidetracked. So, Riku, what else you been doing, man?
As far as game, let's hop over to PS4. We just hopped into that Destiny. It's Destiny. It's like Destiny 1. I mean, man.
Yo, Riku, would you say it's Destiny TOO? 2?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I was actually playing a little bit with my friend earlier, man. And I actually thought if anything, if Destiny 2 was going to do anything for me, I thought it was going to be the co-op that was going to like hold me over, because Destiny 1's co-op, I enjoyed it a lot. When I came to this one and I started playing co-op, oh man, I started dozing off. I don't know why. And I played a little bit of Crucible. I was actually having a little bit of fun in there, but I was just like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why am I don't know what's going on right now. Like, I was so deep into Destiny 1, and now this one is just like, I can only play for like an hour and a half or whatnot. But I'm still gonna, I still want to get deep into it, but I'm not feeling the spark as I previously did.
Yo, you're gonna try to get the platinum? It's only 14 trophies this time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and get it, but I'm not gonna like beast it and rush it like I did.
That sounds like a reluctant platinum.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like get something.
Yeah, because I know, like when it comes to like to the raid and all of the end game stuff, it's gonna be fun. But I don't know. Like, here's one thing that irked me about Destiny 2 right now. I'm playing through the story. I'm like level like fucking 13. I'm a fucking scrub or some shit. And the game is like, oh, guess what? You can't continue with the story. I'm like, wait, why can't I continue with the story? Because you're not level 15. I'm like, so wait, you're not even going to allow me to continue with the story if I'm not this level? Yep. You know how every other game would be like, oh yeah, you're under level. Yeah, you can go ahead and play it, but you're not going to beat it. And you're like, oh, let me try it. And then you would get your ass beat, and you're like, okay, I understand. I got to go level up. But this game didn't even feel like they gave me the opportunity to see, to get my ass beat. It's some fucking, that's traditional Demon Souls, any fucking game. You're too low of a level. You learn that by getting your ass beat. This game was just like, now I'm out here just running around, playing a bunch of side quests and shit. And that's making me even more bored trying to level up to play the story, which I heard is not even all that.
And that's your only gripe? Because I mean, the serious gripe is
that's my biggest gripe. But I'm not even gonna get deep into all of the other stuff. But that's just the biggest one at this moment that's irking me, because I just want to finish the story so I can get my fucking jet bike back.
I want my jet bike.
Seems like it's just a race. Like, that's all I ever hear from everyone. Oh, I gotta level up fast. I gotta go through it fast.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like anybody gives a shit about
the squad that me and Malik is in, man. They all like raid ready. They all motherfucking Broly strong and shit.
It's not fun anymore.
I don't get it. It doesn't.
They all
seem
Broly
like
strong. They all looking at me like you. What they say? What they say, Malik? They call me my light level weak. You weak light level or some shit. I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
Power level on this one. They tried to switch the verbiage up.
Yeah, they don't call it light level anymore. They call it power level on some Dragon Ball Z shit.
I know.
Oh man. All right.
It's your power level.
All right. Malik, man, I know you got a lot of shit going on, man. So what have you been up to lately, brother? How's life, gaming, all that?
Shoot. I'm kind of like Riku when the life is all over the place type stuff, man. But it's been good. I've been doing like a lot of the on-camera hosting stuff, which you guys already know.
Yeah, that shit tripped me out. So when I saw you doing that, I'm like, that's my dude right there, man. Mad proud of you, son.
Yeah, that was really cool seeing you up there, man.
Dude, it's awesome.
Sony's name.
It's awesome being able to get up there and represent, especially coming from where I come from. Coming from the YouTube community, coming from the indie blogger, gaming blogger community. as one of those gaffers. It's cool being out here and being able to do what I'm doing on the level I'm doing it at. But other than that, man, I've been trying to game as much as I possibly can. I don't know, man. I've been playing everything, man. I've been all over the place. Like I'm kind of on the same train as Riku. I was playing Destiny. I'm actually a little further though. Like my light level's pretty high. I'm raid ready and all that stuff. It hasn't been gratifying though. It's been kind of boring to be honest. Like I just kind of just been playing with people, just because my friends are playing it. And that's kind of like the attraction with Destiny. It's your friends are playing it, so you play it too. And that's what I've been doing. I gotta say though, I'm kind of with Riku, man. I'm disappointed with this game. I'm really disappointed with. I kind of knew going in it was gonna be like this. That's the sad part about it. I knew it was gonna be disappointing. I got the code, so whatever. I just played it.
I mean,
but I've been playing everything. I jumped in that Gundam Versus beta.
Hey, she was
got
fire.
down in that. I'm looking forward to that game. That was a lot of fun. Riku pulled me into that. I played Splatoon. I got a Switch. Which is kind of crazy because I was like one of the people who
that Switch game
announced it. I was like, I don't know about this thing, man. It's kind of I'm not feeling it. And then I finally picked one up, and I've been loving my Switch, man. It's been my go-to. So playing Splatoon 2, Sonic Mania, DBZ Fighter beta. I'm gonna be on that this weekend. Fighting games like Marvel. Dang, man, I've just been trying to play as much as I could. I even put PUBG on my laptop, played a couple games on that. Yeah, man, I've just been hopping around, dog. I'm in gaming season right now, man. All the stuff is coming out now, so I'm looking forward to Wolfenstein. That's like my next game that I'm anticipating a lot. That's pretty much it, man. I've just been gaming, chilling, kind of building my own little thing in the background. You guys know about that too. Trying to find ways.
Just for those who may not know about you, what do you currently have going on, professional wise and stuff?
Oh yeah, so for those who don't know, I'm a freelance host at this point. I used to work at Nerdist.com. I was the gaming editor there, but last year I broke free from that and kind of just went out on my own. And since then, I've been doing a lot of esports hosting. So I did some stuff with E-League for their Overwatch and Street Fighter tournaments. I did some stuff for the Overwatch World Cup. I also do the traditional stuff, PlayStation invited me to be one of their correspondents on their live stream at E3. Hopefully I'll be back for PSX.
That'd be cool.
And then Blizzard, they have their convention every year. I do that thing with them. So pretty much stuff like that is pretty much my job. I have a manager who talks to everybody. He's like, hey, are you interested in Malik? And I'll send my little show reel around to everybody, and they look at the reel. And if they're interested, we work something out. So I miss the YouTube grind. I miss being able to create and stuff. But it wasn't very lucrative. I was putting a whole lot of time into it, and I did it for so long. It got to the point where it's man, I got to take care of my responsibilities and be an adult. Doing this, I'm able to do that. I'm able to take care of my responsibilities.
Yeah, and it seems like you're definitely leaving that whole YouTube community where you were at. It seems that you definitely you didn't get out at the right time, but as far as what I heard, you definitely don't want to be have that your main thing right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit rocky right now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's stuff. This is a whole nother conversation, but I was feeling a certain type of way with the gaming community and the so-called gaming culture, which is debatable if that's even a thing. And I want to find a different way where I could impact that, or kind of help serve the underserved. And I realized YouTube really wasn't the place, because it's just it could be a pretty toxic place, and it's very convoluted. So I'm trying to figure out ways to do that, but I had to exit YouTube, and being able to do this stuff is kind of giving me a different perspective on ways to approach that. So
there you go, man. I got to ask you this though, because this is the way I feel, right? Because I'm on the writing tip, right? Pretty much every morning I wake up, I'm like, fuck, I get to write about games for a living. This is the greatest thing ever. I know you got to feel that way too. You wake up, everyone's like, yo, I get to do this for a living. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm grateful every morning I wake up about it, man. It's still, it's sunk in a while ago, and it's just gratitude every day. I just wake up and I'm like, thank God. Because I spent so many years doing the 2 jobs thing, pushing carts at Walmart, Sam's Club, working at Best Buy. So every department store you can think of, I've worked there in some capacity. And I did that stuff for a while, just having my like indie blog and stuff. So being able to do this, man, like I really paid my dues, and it's grateful to see like it actually paid off. So like my thing now is just kind of trying to create opportunity for others to do the same, you know. And that's really my main goal, is like trying to make it to where like my friends and people I know, my colleagues, can all find a way to work a job that makes them a little more happy. So.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. You know, the other day, you're like this story. I was hanging out with my man Jeffrey Wilson. You know him, right? Yeah. So and you know, I was like, yo, Malik's gonna be on Throwdown. He was like, yo, I remember that dude. Like, I met him back at PAX, man. Like, I just seeing this cat all the time. Like, I love it, man. You know, so you know, we're out here, you know, seeing how you've accomplished what you've done and stuff, and it's mad inspirational. And at the same time, and I've said it before, you're still that same dude, you know, that we all used to know from back in the day. You're still hanging out with Riku. You and I still talking stuff, you know, like. All that success hasn't gone to your head and shit, which I really appreciate. And I'm trying to do the same thing too. I'm still trying to be the same guy I've always been, even though I get money for this shit now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what it's about, man.
I hear you, man. Nah, man, it's the same crew all day, man. I can't not hang with my crew. They make me who I am. They're partly a reason why, like people like you, Riku, are partly a reason why I'm able to do this. You know, so I can't change, man. You know,
yeah, man, remember, at E3 this year, man, you had Crew Ham with you, you know, the whole squad, man.
That started to be a thing, man. We're starting to like be like at events together, and that's the really cool thing, is like now everybody else is starting to get involved and stuff, man. And I do want to say it has been really cool seeing you, Tony, Emilio, you guys. I see you at all the events doing your thing too. So like, it's good, man. It's good to see everybody getting involved and getting more ingrained in it, you know, because there's plenty of room for people to like be involved, and I believe. There's just a lot more diversity now, and I just want to see that continue. I want to see that continue.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. All right, man, let's get into some news here, man. The first topic, we got to talk about this Nintendo Direct that went on. They had a lot of interesting things. So, Malik, since you're the big time guest here, you know, Superman.
Nah, it's Riku.
Nah, stop.
Yeah, actually, but you know, who has the Infinity Gauntlet? It ain't Riku.
Hey, exactly. Yeah, I ain't got no Infinity Gauntlet, son. You got all them gems, son.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do got a specific question for you, Riku, but I'll say that for a little bit later. So, what did you think about this latest Nintendo Direct? They had like not only they have first-party games with that 3DS games, and even some third-party games that are very surprising. You know, so what do you think about that, man?
I mean, that third-party support, man, that's what killed the Wii U. They didn't have it. I mean, people started jumping off the Wii U train very early on. I remember there was somebody from EA who said like, nah, we ain't putting no games on the Wii U. So, you know, seeing the Nintendo Switch getting like Bethesda games and like AAA titles that are going to be simultaneously releasing with the PS4 and the Xbox One, that's huge. That's huge, man. I know there's a lot of people out there who, you know, pick a side or pick a brand to get behind. There are some people who are probably mad seeing the Nintendo Switch kind of coming in and doing so well, but I'm happy, man. Like Nintendo, a lot of people were preaching that doom and gloom speech about Nintendo saying they're on their deathbed, and this Nintendo Direct we just saw is just further affirmation that they're here. This Switch system is going to be a success. It's going to keep selling, and now they got the third-party support. I think we're going to see a lot more third parties now jumping on board, you know, and I'm sitting here fighting myself like, man, what am I going to get Wolfenstein on? It's probably going to be PS4 because them visuals, you know, I got to have them like the best visuals possible. But I don't know, man, because like I'll be going. I'll be on the go, and it'd be nice to be able to just fire up my thing, play some Wolfenstein. But it was interesting, man. Like also seeing some more of that Mario Odyssey was cool. Seeing that our Mario, the sexy Mario, man. I remember I took the screenshot and played Return of the Mac and just kind of just looked at it and just kind of visualized like Mario kind of like as some like, you know, Mac Daddy or something. He fits the role very well. But nah, man, I'm excited about Nintendo. It's been a while since I've been excited about Nintendo, so it's good, man. It was good. I think they can do those directs. Like that's another thing too. Like Nintendo, they do these directs like just like every other month, and you just always feel like there's something to look forward to with Nintendo, and it's great.
Yeah, actually, Riku, let me get you in here because you're not really a Nintendo guy per se, but I'm assuming you keep up with some of this stuff. What do you think about the Switch so far and all that, you know, and the Nintendo Direct that just happened?
So, as far as the Switch so far, I'm impressed by how well it's doing. Because I was one of those people that I wasn't necessarily hating on it, but as far as what we saw with the Wii U did, you know, it just looked like Nintendo was trying to do what the Wii U failed to do, but just, you know, change a couple things with the Switch. And, you know, I didn't think that was going to be enough to be at the successful, you know, juncture that they are right now. So I'm happy for them because like Malik just said, but just to rephrase it a little bit, competition, man, keep it going, because even though you know from a business standpoint, you know, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, they all want to be just their ultimate goal is to monopolize, you know, their industry and be the only person there and control all of it. But that's not what we want, and that's not what I want. I don't know if you guys know. I don't want neither of the three to die out. So when I'm not one of those guys that like, I want Nintendo to die, I want Microsoft to die, so Sony can, you know, rule. No, I don't want that, because we saw what Sony tried to pull when the PS3 when the PS3 first came out. They thought they was at the top and no one could stop them. $5.99, motherfuckers, and you gonna deal with it, you know. And then Microsoft thought they was at the top with the Xbox One, you know, $449, guys, and deal with it, you know. And every time they think they're at the top and they're ready to quote unquote monopolize, they always crash and burn. You know, the people, you know, strike back, and they, you know, fight back about it. But competition, I'm glad Nintendo Switch is doing good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just a fun fact, I'm actually gonna grab me a 3DS soon.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
I got a 3DS.
I left that out. They also kind of show that they are still supporting the 3DS full on with that.
Yeah. Like
they
we
Metroid
predicted.
tonight.
Yeah, we've been saying that they're not letting that 3DS go. It makes too much money for them. You know, that shit is not going anywhere, man.
My only issue.
I know. Yeah, go ahead, Malik, and then Manny, you jump in. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask Riku, what exactly are you getting a 3DS for? There's got to be some motive to get you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think it definitely has to do with my whole craze with turn-based RPGs and JRPGs in general, because some of them aren't on the PlayStation or the Vita. Like Dragon Quest 8, I want to play that. I know that's on the 3DS. Fire Emblem, Radiant Historia, and I want to play Azure Gunvolt. I know that's from some of the people that made Mega Man X.
If you like Final Fantasy, get Bravely Default.
Yes, Bravely Default. I forgot about that one. Yes, that one. That one
Bravely
also.
Default and
that
Bravely
one also.
Second.
Yeah, Bravely Second,
Those
and Shin Megami Tensei 4, another excellent game. You know.
I don't know about the Shin Megami. I'll try them, because I'm
like
kind of
Persona. You'll like this. You know, it has the same monsters.
That's the thing, though. I don't know if I'm burnt out of Persona, or we'll see. I think out of all of the ones that I name, I'm probably gonna play that one last. But yeah, I'm all of those games that I said, those are the ones that I'm interested in. I'm not. When I had Nintendo handhelds before, all I fucking played was Pokemon, you know. And then I think that's what, you know, slowly but surely killed my drive to play Nintendo handhelds, because all I played was Pokemon. And then the PSP came out, and I never got another Nintendo handheld. So now that I'm hopping back into the Nintendo handhelds, I'm gonna try and play all the popular JRPGs, everything basically but Pokemon. So yeah,
there you go.
That's what made me want to get 3DS.
Cool, man. All right, Manny. Would you and I talked about the direct, and you you didn't like the tone very much.
It's actually the tone of most of the Nintendo Directs. I feel like they're being overly clear and overly. It almost seems like they're talking like teaching a kindergarten class. It's like, hey everybody, we have the greatest game that you ever wanted to play, and you can jump and you can flip, and then you can do everything you've ever wanted to do. Isn't that great? Don't you want to blow people's faces off in Wolfenstein? Isn't that wonderful? I just feel it's you know what it is because of those obviously, you hire one of those voice actors and you do one of those things, but I feel like in general, a lot of that stuff, you really don't need to explain all the damn stuff that happens in it. It's like they're walking down the street and doing so many awesome things. Yeah, that is my only issue with the Nintendo Directs. You know, I kind of miss Iwata, but you can't do anything about that one.
I sympathize with it for sure. But man, it's gonna be hard. Like the Nintendo Directs are all good, but it's gonna be hard for them to top the Nindies one because I really enjoyed that one when they were showing like all the indie games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe I don't know, Emilio. Maybe it's just that tone. That's the Nintendo thing. I mean,
it's like Nintendo tone. Yeah,
they just got that family-friendly, tone. Yeah. People like us who are pretty hardcore.
You have that family-friendly tone, and then you're trying to sell us Wolfenstein and Doom.
Didn't they say something about Skyrim or?
Yeah, they got Skyrim.
Yeah, also,
LA Noire. LA Noire is not exactly a family-friendly game,
It's like, do you want to solve murders?
Yeah, I get it. It's like Rocco's Modern Life. Anybody who watched that cartoon, it was really for adults at the end of the day. But I was watching that as a kid, and I just like animation and stuff like that. So it's one of those things that's kind of like disguised as like a kid-friendly, family-friendly thing, but then they have like some adult references, even down to like when they originally revealed the Nintendo Switch and they had the guys like milking the cow and they're kind of like making the jack off motion. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? What am I watching right now, man? But Nintendo, that's how they roll.
Oh man! All right, I want to jump over to Brett here because I you're the big Nintendo guy now. So what do you think of the Direct, and specifically, what do you think of the fact that they're still supporting the fucking 3DS, man?
I'm honestly floored that they're still supporting the 3DS. It seems like, and I get it that it'll probably still phase out. It's just at this point, it's dated technology. Like it's just such an old system that it's time to actually roll over and start supporting your quote unquote next generation. And if that's not the Switch, then you need to come out and say that you're going to make a new DS with new hardware, because that thing is just old as shit at this point. It's from, and I know a lot of people that love playing on it, and an equal number of people will tell me like it's getting hard to play on because it looks janky and it doesn't have the power that it needs to.
Yeah, and they need a successor to that.
I think the Switch is the successor. They're just afraid to say it.
I mean, that's the issue with the whole thing, because the Switch is perfect to be the successor of the 3DS, but they're not willing to kill that off. It's bringing them too much money.
That install base is just too crazy, man.
But
from any business standpoint, you can't do that.
But if you look at that the same way, like why did PlayStation drop a PlayStation 4 when there was so many people that had PlayStation 3s and they were still making so much money on it? Because you need to anticipate that shit, and otherwise your fan base.
But that's the thing. PlayStation has Microsoft and Nintendo to compete against when it comes to moving on to another generation of home consoles. We already discussed that the Vita versus the 3DS. It really isn't any competition. Nintendo doesn't really have anyone to force them to make a new handheld, to move the generation of handhelds over. Sony ain't doing shit about it, No,
I absolutely agree. And the shitty thing is that I wish that they would innovate without being forced to. It's one of those. I'm mainly arguing the argument of, well, they have such a big install base. Like, yeah, but in theory, you should, if you announce a successor, you should be able to transfer that install base onto your new system.
It doesn't always work like that way.
Should they stop making games for the Vita?
Should they stop making games for the Vita?
Should they? Yes. Will they? As far as I heard, no. They got I think they still have over 50 games coming out this year.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. They're just supporting. They're supporting their portable.
The third parties are.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. It's like, why should they stop supporting the 3DS if they're still making money off of it? You know what I'm saying? And there aren't, that's the only Nintendo handheld out there, and the Vita's not really competition, so there's really no point in killing it, even if it is old ass hardware.
Well, I don't know if they need to phase it out as much as just announce the successor of it. Announce where you're going to go in the future. They're very gun shy on the whole.
Remember, this is Nintendo. They
move
when they feel. They move when they feel financially they got to do something. If they don't feel that way, they ain't doing shit. We've seen that.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to kind of pass the buck and be like, well, we just hope that the developers will kind of move over there and the system will kind of.
I think they're just milking it as long as they can.
Yeah,
they're gonna make.
That.
I think they're gonna make another handheld. It's just.
You think
once
so?
they. Yeah, I think so. It's just gonna take them a really long time, because like we all said, it's still selling like hotcakes. And from a business and financial standpoint, who would give that up?
Yeah, I mean.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I suppose so. Until somebody challenges them in the market, which I don't really see happening anytime in the near future.
Yeah, Sony's too focused on PlayStation 4, and Microsoft definitely ain't gonna do shit about it.
But Brett sees the Switch as a portable console, so they're competing with each other.
Yeah, that's the little weird thing. Is like the snake biting its own tail. They're kind of competing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. They're competing with, and they're competing for not only consumers but for developers.
Yeah.
Because the 3DS is getting really good titles right now.
Just Dragon Quest 11 is one of them. Like, why isn't Dragon Quest 11 on the Switch? Why is it coming to PlayStation? That's just, I always thought that was a weird combination. I know why Square Enix did it. They're giving it to the two most successful devices in Japan, which is not the Vita, and it's not, well, it's debatable if you want to say the Switch, but the PS4, above it. So they give it to PS4 and they give it to the 3DS, which, you would think it would go to the PS4 and the Switch, or the PS4 and the PS Vita, or it's just a weird combination that they chose the PS4 and the 3DS, but they chose it because of the install base.
Yeah, don't forget Metroid. That's coming out tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah,
really.
We had a discussion of was it Throwdown Your Questions or last week's Throwdown that Nintendo was having an issue with third-party AAA titles. I mean, if Nintendo was getting all the 3DS, the Switch was getting all the 3DS games, they would be getting heavy hitters every freaking month, man. Like,
yeah,
for all we know, for the next year or so. So it's just interesting, like the strategy they're taking, and if it's going to hamper Switch in any moment in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say this: if the Switch had the ability to play 3DS games, like you can put the cartridges in, I would have bought one.
Damn.
Yeah, that probably would have helped. As far as the rest of their Nintendo Direct, like I was pretty pleased. I'm happy to see Wolfenstein coming to Switch. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic they did with that, but I'm happy to see Doom coming to the Switch. I'm happy to see more mature titles coming to the Switch. It's weird that I've become the default Nintendo guy. Like, I didn't mean to be here. Like, I was the same way. Like, man, I bought my Switch and I've been enjoying it, and I can't, like, all this shit that I've been talking about Nintendo for the last 10 years. Like, they're finally addressing it. Like, yeah, like, oh yeah, you have adult gamers. Well, we should probably put some adult games on there. And oh yeah, we should probably focus a little bit on third-party support. And and before, there's always been a qualifier and asterisk of like, well, yeah, but they're indie games, or Skyrim is the exception, and just with Bethesda throwing their weight in there, and I see more companies viewing it as a viable system, and that's really good for the environment, or for the gaming environment in general,
and the demographic.
Yeah. So I'm seeing this as all positive signs. I've been saying that I don't think it's dying. I don't think it's withering. I think they're having success. I think they're taking care of it. Like, at this point, I'm just going to sound like either a fanboy or a broken record if I keep being like, they seem to be actually playing ball this time. This is the most I've seen Nintendo ever play ball.
I mean, they're doing pretty good. We're gonna get more into the sales a little bit later. But Chris, man, I want your point of view about all this.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's about to get hot in here, man.
Want to invite Buzz Killington to the party? Okay. All right, so here we go. You realize all of this big talk about all their third-party support is coming from one publisher, right? This is all coming from Bethesda.
Really?
So
what about 2K?
Who gives a shit about 2K?
Like, it's a third party.
Yeah, it is, and nobody gives a shit. Like, Bethesda is a world. Oh, Capcom, it looks embarrassing at this point. They gave them a 25-year-old version of Street Fighter, and Bethesda just jumped in the damn pool. They stuck their toe in. Ooh,
Monster
is the
Hunter.
water cold?
I mean, Monster Hunter is on the PlayStation now, man. So
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
Chris, you'd agree at the start, right?
no, it's a good start. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Capcom should be embarrassed. Like Bethesda just went all in. They're even bringing
Yeah,
a
Bethesda's
brand
not
new
messing
title.
around.
No, they're not. That's what I'm saying. So I'm pleased they're doing that.
so
And
Chris,
to
quick
Capcom, I
question.
say, why didn't you do that?
Chris, quick question, because I know Tony always gets on Bethesda about their the
Quality
quality
The
assurance.
of
buggy
the
games.
of the
Oh
games.
well, that's just.
So what do you
What
how
do
do
I
you
expect?
on
Skyrim
the
to be buggy as shit? Like that's even the remastered on PS4 was messed up. So yeah, but they'll fucking do something about it. Either that or
hopefully,
they'll if
because
they
that's
release
one
a broken game, that would be embarrassing for
yeah, because
them.
that's one thing on Nintendo that you really don't see is glitchy or broken game, especially from their
Well,
first party.
that I can't fault Nintendo for. That's 100% Bethesda. They just need to
Yeah,
get their
I'm
act
just like I hope Nintendo holds Bethesda accountable for their type of
They have the resources
quality.
to do it. It's like, all right, Skyrim's 7 years old. If you ain't worked out the problems yet, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And Wolfenstein, it launches later, so they have the time to get it right for that system. So hopefully they do a good job. Other than that,
I'm surprised. Aren't they simultaneously releasing it on Switch?
no, Wolfenstein 2 for Switch is coming
later,
out.
yeah.
I believe
Is
it's coming
later.
out later. Yeah.
Okay, so we're still not having simultaneous big party releases.
No, and Wolfenstein 2 is a big game. So I would imagine it would be hard because you got an x86 build going on for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and then you need a Tegra build and how to figure out how to pare everything down to run on the Switch smoothly. So that's a whole other can of worms that they have to solve. That's it. Say, I mean, look at GTA 5. Look at the PC version launch versus the consoles. How much longer was PC after console
Yeah, it
for
was like about a year or
GTA?
so. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's like
Damn.
the same thing. It's the same kind of stepping. They just have to get a handle on the hardware, figure it out, and they know they got one shot at the Switch. They have to realize it doesn't have a lot of storage, so they can't rely on day one patches and shit like that for Skyrim and Doom and all that stuff. So don't fuck it up, Bethesda. That's the moral of the story
True.
because it'll be squarely on them. Other than that, they had some good stuff. I mean, I mean the conference just is sterile, so it was hard to watch. I just got notes later because I got halfway through and I see Kozumi with the gloves and the hat, and I'm like, all right, I'm tapping out. And it's but they like I said, what I said last time was they need to support their own hardware, so they actually announced some more stuff. Like they got 2 Kirby games coming out. Obviously, like we said, the 3DS is getting a ton of support. So, and Atlas seems to be dumping games on it like hotcakes. So, 3DS is still very much alive and well. And if you notice, the only thing they're gonna phase out is the 3DS, so they can stop paying. What's his name? From Sony, who won that lawsuit. That's pretty much the only reason to get rid of it.
I can see Nintendo doing what Sony did to the Vita, which is basically
Well,
they're not gonna kill it off.
Yeah, they
They're
let it
not gonna
coast.
kill it off, but
Yeah.
they're just gonna stop making first party games. If the third parties are still gonna make games for it, like Square dropping Dragon Quest games on it every fucking month
Yeah.
or whatever, they'll let them do that. I can see them doing that.
Yeah, I think this revision of 2DS, they have the manufacturing down to where it's as cheap as possible. So that will be the system going forward. They'll phase out the 3DS. It'll just be 2DS XL, and they'll keep rebranding it until it stops selling, and then that's when it dies. Until then, they'll support it and they'll support the developers. But once it stops selling, they'll stop supporting the developers, and that's when those guys bail.
Will we get a 3DS Micro before that?
No,
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
maybe a 2DS. Who knows? Who knows? Sometimes they do things that don't make sense. That would not make sense, but
Like the PSP Go.
yeah, that was total like, what the hell are you doing? That was so stupid. But I'd be wary of Bethesda fucking this up because they have in the past. And I just don't want them to do the other thing that I'm concerned about because I trust Todd Howard as much as I could throw him, is that if Skyrim sells poorly, they may cancel Wolfenstein, right? They may stop production on it because they may go, okay, we're not getting traction on here. Finish Doom, and then that's it. We'll pull out. And that's going to set a bad precedent for other things going forward. So if you guys out there, all you Nintendo guys that tell me I'm awful, if you don't buy Skyrim and Doom, it's your fault. All right? You wanted the big boy games? Put on your big boy pants and find the money and buy it so that this guy has a reason to keep supporting it. And then the greedy fucks at EA and stuff will go, oh shit, this is viable. And then they will make games for it. And then you guys will have games.
Other than their first party games.
No,
Yeah,
other
exactly.
than
You nailed
the
it,
third
because-
party support, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah. No, it's important though, because you're right. If the games don't sell, all the third parties. This is what happened with the Wii U. Remember, the Wii U at the very beginning had a lot of big third party games. It had Mass Effect 3, they had Batman Arkham, it had a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah, they didn't sell, and they lost all that support. Everybody pulled up.
But if they buy the games, people will be more, the companies will make more games from it. It's as simple as that,
Right. So yeah, you guys, like, you're happy you get Skyrim, but you have to actually buy it. You can't like high five each other that, wow, we're getting third party support, and then you don't go fucking buy the game. Then you won't get any more third party support, and then you'll be sad. So go out and put your money where your mouth is and support the thing and buy those games.
It seems to be a hard thing for these fans to do for the past two generations, man.
To be fair, Nintendo guys have been buying the games this generation.
They've been buying Nintendo games.
Oh no, I wasn't just talking about Nintendo. I was just talking about
fanboy,
Xbox fanboys in general.
Yeah, no, the Xbox guys are very guilty of that. They're like,
see, I wasn't calling out no groups, man, because I've seen it from all three sides.
It's
true. Like we got a game, and then the game comes out and nobody buys it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
10 other people bought Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. But like right now, Sony's a 1,000-pound gorilla. So even if a game doesn't sell, they still have the big install base. So they'll still get sequels.
It'll still sell decent. It still sells decently.
Yeah.
You don't think the same thing kind of applies to the Nintendo Switch or
no? They don't have the install base. Like you're talking about over 64 million PS4s in the market versus I don't know what Nintendo's up to because they stopped.
So say they have a great holiday season.
Well, a great holiday season won't get them up to 64. That's like Dreamcast talk. If they'll get
Chris, let me ask you this realistically. If we both don't think it'll happen, but if Nintendo makes that 10 million, sales, would that be enough? Like basically,
yeah. No, if they make their projection, then yes, they will sing it from the rooftops and tell the third party guys, yes, we are viable. See the pace that we sold at. And then they will have an argument to get more third-party support. But they have to hit that number. If they don't hit that number, if they don't get close, that spells doom. Then you're looking at next year, this thing becomes the Wii U 2.
Man, well, we can't. We don't want that.
You can't have that.
I don't see that.
Yeah. Malik, how well do you think this thing's going to sell by like March of next year? Or April next year? Pretty much a year after it came out.
I mean, it remains to be seen. I think it's gonna have a steady growth. It really depends on how many great games they release. But I feel like what we're seeing from the first party standpoint is going to be doing enough as it is to at least get people interested. And I mean, right now, another factor is how many of these can they make available to people, because it's really hard to just attain a Nintendo Switch right now.
There's another factor going on, and you hit the nail on the head. Apple is dominating the rare earths market, and what I mean by that is they bought up pretty much most of the stock of NAND flash and the components needed to build things like the Switch. Everybody is sharing the same resources to build boards and circuits and batteries, right? Samsung, LG, everyone. Apple's got the most money. Apple almost put JPI out of business. JPI is the guys who make the LED screens for the Switch. They were making the LED screens also for the iPhone until Apple said later for you guys, we're going to OLED. Jumped out, took 52% of JPI's business with them out the door, and almost bankrupted the company. I don't know what state they're in now, but if they go under, that's another manufacturing issue for Nintendo that they have to deal with, which is not their fault. It's Apple's fault. And Apple also is hoarding basically the resource. They have the money to throw around to buy NAND flash. Like China can jack it up all they want. Apple can pay for it. You know, we can't. That's why why do you think that iPhone X is a grand base? You know, they're passing that buck to you. So, you know, that's so with the restriction. Like even though Reggie and these guys go out and tell you, like, don't buy that bullshit. When he goes out, it's like, we're ramping up production. You can't. This is not. We don't live in a Warner Brothers cartoon. He can't just pull a lever and make more. Like, you have to deal with reality, and that's the reality of it. It isn't their fault, but he should be upfront about it.
Yeah, I think the real thing comes down to can they keep the demand there for the amount of time it will take for them to produce a solid amount? Because, like you said, it's just right now the manufacturing is just not there. So
right, they had a handle on the scarcity before, like when I worked there and stuff, because they were managing the stock, right? So they managed the scarcity. It was artificial. Now it's not artificial. That's real, and they can't manage it. So you can't choke a supply line and then release convenient stock into the market to boost engagement, and then keep doing that like in a cycle. They can't control the cycle anymore. So like you said, that's going to be a big problem with engagement. If I want Super Mario Odyssey and I can't buy a Switch, eventually you reach a frustration level where you will just move on to something else. Like, oh, maybe I will get an iPhone, or maybe I will get an Xbox One, you know? And once you moved on and spent your money there, then you're not coming back, you know?
Agreed. Right, anybody else want to say anything else on Nintendo or move on? Take that as a no. So go ahead.
I mean,
go ahead.
I say never mind. We can move on because it's pretty much the next topic anyway.
I switched it over to August MPDs, man, because this is relevant. For Nintendo, Switch has beaten the PS4 and Xbox One yet again. You know, and they said it's been out 6 months now, right? And I think for like 5 or 4 of those months, it's beaten out the bigger guys out there. So it says something about the Switch, man. People want it, even with the limited supply out there. It is still managing to outsell the other guys. I wish we had exact numbers, but we'll take what we get. But go ahead, Malik. What you have to say about this, man?
Well, no, I was actually going to touch on the mini Johns, and talk about how they. I feel like they're kind of using the minis as a way to appease some of the people who can't get their hands on the Switch. But
let's talk about that. Oh, maybe Josh Lee's laughing back there. That's Manny's girlfriend, by the way. That's my girlfriend.
Well, yeah, no, I feel like the SNES, and I guess they're re-releasing the NES, right? Am I
next year, yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of ties into the whole like Switch supply and demand debacle they have going on there. It's just kind of like, I mean, there is also a demand for those as well. And I mean, what better way to capitalize on the nostalgia and the demand than putting that stuff out there? And people are going crazy. Like, at least here in California, whenever those things are available, people are lining up outside for them. So
I think that's the case pretty much everywhere. People like
not in Kansas.
Oh shit!
I'm just saying. He says he sees stores. I'm just saying.
Wait, what?
Yeah, hey, Brett, how's the demand for those minis out there in Kansas, bro?
Well, there are none.
Oh, there are none. Okay, so you guys don't get shit.
Like they were sold out within the first 2 hours, just like everywhere. Like, there ain't shit just sitting on the shelves out here.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to the Throwdown crickets as always.
Say hi. Them niggas be going in, son.
They got a lot to say, man. But yeah, it's funny because it's like, because you're saying that the minis could offset, like, basically if you can't buy a Switch, you can buy a mini. But even those are still hard to find too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's crazy. But I mean, I guess to go back to the MPD thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not surprised, man. Like, I'm not. The Nintendo Switch is like Nintendo's just a household name. When you talk to your low information gamers, they're all talking about this real talk. They all talk about the Nintendo Switch. You know, they think they're like, oh man, this is the first time I'm able to like take my console on the go with me. They never played the Sega Nomad. They don't know that, you know, there are consoles before they exist with this type of functionality. Although Sega Nomad had terrible battery life,
you know,
but yeah, and I don't know, there's still demand out. My mom called me and asked me about the Switch. She's still trying to get her hands on one. You know, I always hear people who, you know, aren't particularly that deep into it talking about it. So I'm not surprised that it's doing so well. And I feel like with these Nintendo Directs, you know, them keeping people talking about it, keeping the hype around it. You know, if you're on Twitter, you're gonna scroll and see at least one person mentioning, you know, and now they have this stuff like they have these crazy memeable moments. You know, like right now it's Mario, sexy Mario, and you know, before there's been other things too. I feel like, you know, they kind of got like a small grip on, you know, how to stay pretty relevant, which is actually kind of weird because Nintendo always seemed so out of touch over the last decade.
Right? So. Ain't that something? What the last meme I saw from them was like, it was that one girl from Arm. She had that really thick ass, and everybody was like, "Yo, she got a nice ass." So they just started posting it everywhere. You know, they were like, "She's thick with 2 C's at the end and stuff." And then they got a picture of her and then Zelda together. Yeah. It's like, how do we sell the Switch? Bad.
Have Luigi dabbing in your games. You know?
Yeah, right. It's crazy, like, man.
I wish they. Oh man. Don't get me started on the dab.
I'm gonna get to this larger question first, but as we always do when these things come out, we got to give you the top 10. Man, get ready for this one. Okay, Madden NFL 18. No surprise there. The number 2 game.
Is it our favorite game?
It's the game we've gone back to on Throwdown. GTA
Life.
5, number 2 game.
What life? It's the butter game. That's why.
Who still doesn't have that game?
Everybody gets it.
I have 2 copies of the game, and I haven't even played it.
Wait, you have 2 copies and you haven't even played it? What the fuck?
I haven't even played the motherfucking game, and I got 2 copies of that hoe. How did they get it in my house? No, my brother, he bought a PS4 and it came with one. And honestly, I have no fucking clue where the second one came from. It just ended up in my house. But I haven't played
GTA, bro. Like, how
did I be sliding in for no fucking reason? We got $60 out of you, nigga. I didn't even buy the game. Where did you come from? What? They just be selling for no reason. You don't even buy it and you have it.
You know,
every day somebody becomes old enough to get it. And that's it. Yeah, that's the bottom line.
Our favorite here, Brett's soapbox. He goes, "I'm going to buy GTA 5." I'm like, "How do you not have it?" And then another person hit me up on Twitter. Like, "I'm going to buy it for the first time now." I'm like, "See, that's why they're always on MPDs."
I was playing it last week.
See, there you go. Man.
They always added stuff to it. They support that game so much.
They do. And I hate when people are like, "Oh yeah, well, how am I going to get the money?" You got to do the damn missions that we struggled with the other day. You got to start doing those
heists.
You got to do the heists. That's where you get the big money.
Yeah.
Or learn how to use your regular shit. If they're like the gun running and stuff, you can.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right, so Grand Theft Auto number 2, Uncharted: Lost Legacy number 3. Very happy about that.
Nice.
Great game. Here's your favorite, Malik. Splatoon 2, baby. Number 4.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
You know, yo, Legend of Zelda is still on this bitch, man. Number 5. A surprise. You know, Rainbow Six Siege, another one still on there. Mario Kart.
That's surprising.
That's actually surprising because Ghost Recon I know did well, but
I thought Ghost Recon would be up there.
That's crazy. Mario Kart 8 is number 7. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered number 8. Crash Bandicoot. I'm still surprised by Crash Bandicoot is on this thing. You know,
that nostalgia is powerful, man. That nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's strong.
And then of course Overwatch number 10. You know. Very interesting, man.
Grand Theft Auto is crazy, man. I'm still waiting for that Spyro.
Hey, Adam, number 12 is Recon, man. Wildlands, your film.
It's still there, you know. It'll probably step up too since the PvP is coming, you know, and they want to add more modes to that. So if they do their whole little Battlegrounds plan, then the whole shit can take off. It has the world for it.
Here's the question. Yeah, here's the question I want to ask everybody. With the Nintendo's current momentum, right? The Switch. You think this is going to keep going for the rest of the year, specifically November, that crucial month? What do you think, Malik?
I think it will. I mean, because not everybody's going to have a Switch by the end of the year, but a lot of people are going to want one. And then they got, Super Mario Odyssey, which everybody loves Mario. There's a little bit of, I don't know if it's on purpose, but viral marketing happening with all the stuff around Mario. So yeah, definitely. You can't release a Mario game, and not have people hyped and wanting. I mean, Mario's always been somewhat of a system seller. I think coupled with Zelda and all these other games, people are definitely going to want the Switch. I think the momentum is going to continue. A lot of these soccer moms. I always say soccer moms. It's like the go-to for Christmas holiday shopping. But a lot of parents are going to go out, get stuff for their kids, and the Switch is going to be one of those things that is going to be on a lot of buyers' guides. A lot of people are going to be typing them for their blogs. They're going to put the Switch on there. Yeah, momentum is definitely going to continue.
If they can't find it, they're going to get a 2DS.
2DS XL.
That's going to be everywhere. That 2DS.
So you're telling me that the $300 relatively weak console that has a bunch of games on it is going to outsell the $500 powerful console with no games on it. Is that what you're telling me?
You're referring to the Xbox One X?
Yeah, because the Xbox guys obviously are saying, "Yo, Scorpio's going to kill everybody, son."
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Totally going to murder the Xbox One in sales. Like that. That's kind of where they struck out, man. The Xbox One X is, you would have thought they would have learned from the PS3. Like it does. It's not all about the power. At the end of the day, you got to put. And mind you, there's still some good games I'm looking forward to on the Xbox One X, like Cuphead. Yes, but man. I can play that on my Xbox One. Do I need a One X to play that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Yeah,
that is a huge problem they're having. They don't have a game that really sells the system. Yeah. So it's ridiculous to think anybody who is a current owner of an Xbox One is going to upgrade for what exactly? For
They're going to upgrade.
Wait, a buddy of mine said he's doing it because he wants to play Just Cause. Just Cause 3. Because supposedly it was a lot of problems on the Xbox One with frame rates when all the explosions and stuff.
Hold on,
he is excited.
He's making a huge mistake.
He already pre-ordered. He got the the Scorpio version, and I'm like, so what are you going to play first? He said, Just Cause 3. Because then I won't have any of the frame rate.
You can buy that shit on something else.
Okay, he's making a big mistake. Square never optimized that game to run on either PS4 or Xbox One. It had huge frame rate issues. They would drop between 10 and 13 frames per second when the action got crazy. They never patched that. It runs like that on PS4 Pro. There's little hope that it will get better on the Xbox One X. Very little. So he's wasting his money.
If that's did that. Yep. And that was his. I asked him today too. I was like, "So what's the first thing you're gonna play when you get this?" He's like, "Just Cause 3."
Like, all right. No, it's not gonna solve that issue.
You know what? I'll refrain from saying what I think about your friend right now, but I'll just leave it at that.
Yo, Tony, so you're for sure not gonna remember you were contemplating saying Xbox for when the X was releasing. So now you're out of the boat, right?
I've been flip-flopping, bro. Because this is what happened. Originally, I was like, Xbox One X is gonna win in November, purely because it's a new system, right? Then I saw that E3 event. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. And then I was like, wait, Nintendo actually has enough systems and Mario's coming, yeah, that's gonna beat out both PlayStation and Xbox. So I'm gonna go with Nintendo for now, but I may change my mind. The landscape is changing.
I gotta say, you remember when I said that and you laughed at me, right?
Yes.
Okay, just.
Brett, I'm about to hit you with something soon, man.
You have to put you on blast.
No, I'm gonna get Brett in a little bit. About a conversation we had. But speaking about that, Chris. Because you and I pretty much said this shit was dead in the water, and it looks like we might be wrong, man. What do you think about the Switch constantly selling like this? And again, I've said it on the record. I predicted this shit wouldn't sell more than 4 million this year. It's already above 5. So
yeah, I said it would have done 6 to 7 million by the end of the year. So I haven't been proven wrong yet.
Yeah.
What my problem was what their performance would be in 2018, and that has yet to be seen. But this last direct was encouraging somewhat if Bethesda doesn't drop the ball on them, because it's pretty much heavily on their shoulders to provide a good experience third party that makes other guys pay attention, like Activision and EA and those other guys, to port stuff to the Switch. That being said, I think they will do very well in holiday. For Mario alone will probably, you'll see the same thing you saw at Zelda. It will have like over 100% sell through because people will buy the game hoping that they'll get a Switch later. So you're going to see that weirdness you don't normally see. And the 2DS will do well just because it's getting support out the wazoo, and it's cheap.
I have a prediction.
Uh-oh.
On a prediction out there. Yep, summertime redesign. We're gonna see a Switch redesign, and they're gonna fix the whole headset issue, and they're gonna fix some of the other shit. I have a feeling we're gonna see that.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
They're known for doing it. They did it with the 3DS, with the new 3DS, and added the nub and stuff.
Yeah,
that was like a year after its release. Like,
it'd be a great excuse to change the screen type to something.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And then exactly. So I think that's when I'll jump on when they do that.
We did a redesign, and it just so happens to be $50 cheaper now, and then they're really not going to talk about I'm pretty sure Vita had something similar, right? Where like the first one had better screens.
It took a few years later, but yeah, they wound up switching out the OLED.
No, the Vita got worse screens.
Yeah,
but they swapped it out though to lower the price.
Yeah, but they're not going to lower the price on the Switch.
No, they're not going to. They probably won't tell anybody. They were like, "Oh, we did the headset and we did something else, a little bells and whistles." Because remember, they still have that lawsuit over the Joy-Con shit. So
they won't make a mention about them changing.
No, I'm sure they'll just make some little.
Does anybody use the Joy-Cons, or is everybody? I'm a pro controller dude. Anybody else?
I'm a pro. Brett. He does both. I'm that shit is like docked 100% of the time for me, and Carlos is like that too.
Yeah, I can't stand the Joy-Cons. The Pro Controller feels perfect for me, but the Joy-Cons I just can't. I can't hold the tablet playing it for longer than 10 minutes. It just feels uncomfortable.
I only like the Joy-Cons in some games, and even then it's just because I like having my arms stretched out, like being able to drop my arms on the couch behind me or something like that and be able to play with the controller separated. Actually, after I got used to that for a while, I had to get used again to like playing on a controller, just because I was like, man, I feel like I'm wearing handcuffs playing this thing. And eventually that went away, but I do think that there's something to be said for the idea of, not having to have it be one thing. At the same time, there are certain fucking games that I would definitely not play with split Joy-Cons.
Well, Brett, you said you always played this as a portable. So did you use your Pro Controller when you took it with you? Like, how did you? I mean, I know you played a lot of Zelda. You did a lot of Zelda.
Yeah, I don't always use it as a portable. I use it about 50-50 myself.
Didn't he just say that before, that he saw it as a portable and that you always using it portable? That all the people, your friends, everybody use it as a portable.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that use it as a portable. I use it, and that's why I kind of still use the term, like, it's just kind of a portable console. I go home and I dock it, and then I play Zelda on TV, and then when I go to work, I throw it in my bag, and between appointments or when I don't have to draw or I'm just waiting for walk-ins or something like that, I'll pop it out and play some Zelda there. Or there's a dock up at the shop now since my boss bought one, so I'll be able to dock it and play up there.
Do you need the dock for the Pro Controller to work, or can you, like...
No, you can just have the Pro Controller working, but when I take it with me, I usually bring the less adequate controller that the Joy-Cons slip into. So my preferred way, like when I play it on the go, is I still don't like using it as a handheld. Like I use it in handheld mode a lot of times, but if I'm like posted up at the shop, I actually pop out its little kickstand, pull off the Joy-Cons, slip them into the Plan B controller shell, and just play with a square controller for a little while. It's fine. But for big long game sessions, I still like a TV and a big fat controller, and I like the fact that I get the option to do them.
So Carlos, you see, there's your reason why when you went over to Korea and stuff, you're like, oh, I didn't see anybody playing Switch. They probably all felt the same way. It's too damn heavy, too wide, or Japan.
Actually, Adam, you just gave me the illest segue. This is a little bit off topic, but let's take it. All right, Brett, so I discovered something very interesting today. You can see it right here on the screen, right? Okay, because remember on Sunday, you said that you believe that the main reason people buy the Switch is because it's portable, right? Well, the Nintendo of America Twitter, this is the official Twitter, had a poll, and I know it's not scientific, but they still asked Nintendo fans, where is your favorite place to play with your Nintendo Switch? 83% of them said home. So doesn't that kind of like go against what you said? Like if people bought this thing primarily because it's portable, why the fuck are they mostly playing it at home?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you interpret the data. Just because the first thing I would say is just because you enjoy playing it at home the most, I'm one of those people, doesn't mean that you still don't take it for its functionality. Like you still don't appreciate its portable function. Yeah, it's not the best way to play. I'd prefer to play it docked, but a lot of times I'm not home and near my TV, so I like playing it on the go too. But yeah, given the choice, I would probably have voted the same way in that poll. So I don't know that that's indicative of people not using its portability. I'd love to see a poll actually question more like, how often do you use the portable mode of your Switch? And, you know, if there's 50% of people that say, you know, never, like that would be very interesting. If there's 80% of people that say never, you know, if that mirrored this poll right here, then I think that would be a lot more firm in what it was saying. But no, I don't think that just because it's your favorite way to play means that you don't play it the other way. In fact, a lot of times still in game reviews and things like that and talking with people, I hear people say that basically that if they had the option to play, I just fucking heard about it tonight. I was watching a thing on maybe IGN where they were talking about the Nintendo Direct, and they were talking about Wolfenstein, and even one of them said like, hey man, if I had the option to play pretty much the same Wolfenstein portable, like cool, I'm all for it. And so I think that's still a selling point. I just don't think it's the most important or everybody's favorite way to play. I think everybody would prefer not to hold the thing and stare at a small screen.
All right, just making sure, because you know, or maybe I'm bugging, but I remember you saying that's the main selling point of this system. That's the reason most people bought it.
Well, that's what I brought it up because he said that. So
yeah,
but no, it's the hybrid of the system. I think is the main selling point. I don't think if this were just a little box that it would sell as well. I think that the idea that you can take these games portably is definitely a selling point and a feature of this thing. But I don't think that I don't know many people that would prefer to play any sort of handheld. You know, that's like saying, would you prefer to watch Netflix on your tablet or at home? Like, well, I'd definitely prefer to watch Netflix at home. Like, do you ever watch Netflix on your iPad? Yeah, sometimes. Does it mean I'd watch it that way? No, I wouldn't rather watch it that way. I'd rather watch it on my TV. But I still like having the ability to watch it on my tablet or even on my phone. Like every once in a while, I'll watch Netflix on my phone. Is it the best way to watch Netflix? Fuck no. Do I still do it if I'm trying to, you know, if I'm bored and I'm mad because I have 20 extra minutes and I really want to see the next episode of Hunter x Hunter? Like, yeah, I will. Totally.
That data, man.
Yeah. So it's, I'd be interested to see a poll talking, and you definitely wouldn't get this from Nintendo, but how many people use their Switch completely without its portability feature, who just don't care about its portability feature? Because I think that number would be a little bit lower.
I do think it's cool that you have the option though, like you said. And another thing about the Switch too is like it kind of, encourages people to LAN, to like meet up and play with each other, to a certain extent. Like I know that's one thing that I try to encourage my friends to do LAN parties. I think LANs are a very healthy thing to do instead of going to the club sometimes.
Co-op play, man. Co-op play. That's what I keep telling everybody. Co-op play.
It's cool to be in the same room as people and playing games, and with the Switch, you can all have your own system. And, like I got like multiple docks in my house. So like if anybody brought their Switch over, there's another, they can just throw their thing in the dock and they're good to go. There it is. So they probably wouldn't want to unplug their PlayStation 4 and all that stuff and bring it over. With the Switch, they can just take it. So.
That's a real gamer house, man. You got like docks for everybody,
Yeah, well, my girlfriend, she games a lot too, so it works out. It works out. I do want to say another thing about the Switch and going back to the games, though.
Yeah.
And Chris, you had made the point earlier that you're really looking at 2018 to be the make or break year for the Nintendo Switch, and I definitely agree. I think there's two things that they really need to do, next year, or that I'm hoping that they're already ahead of me on this with. And one of them is with third-party support. Not necessarily, taking games that are going to be like on the PS4 and the Xbox One and finding a way to port them. I think they need, experiences specifically for the Switch that are third party. Kind of like Mario Rabbids is a good example, I guess.
Or kind of like what the 3DS is doing.
Right. Yeah. I think things like that are very important. And then number two is like, man, we need to see these household names, man. Like they've been sitting on a lot of household names. They do that thing, Nintendo, where they just like sit on them, and I feel like this is the generation where like we need to see that Pokemon game. That's not like that true Pokemon game.
Yeah, not Pocket Tournament. Don't like blue balls everyone. Like they need to really bring out those titles. So they showed up a logo for Metroid Prime 3. That game better be in heavy production, and come out like soon, like next year for sure. I think they would see an enormous uptick in momentum if they offered people three things. All they need to do is, yes, use your IPs. Like if ARMS was Punch Out, I guarantee it would have done better.
Oh my
right?
god,
Like,
yeah.
And not saying you couldn't have ARMS, but what if you said we're launching Punch Out? What if, and then like you said, like LAN party stuff, you play together. You could have two people play, or maybe make a four-way Punch Out. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and help the indie guys more. I think get these guys more resources so games like Dead Cells and whatever can come over to the Switch, because I think like that's like a nice 2D Dark Souls type game can come over. And I literally mean that. It's not the Dark Souls of 2D games like these other idiots say. It's a Dark Souls like game. Like Salt and Sanctuary. All these
I need to play that.
So these guys need resources, and Microsoft has the money to get indie guys resources, and so does Sony. So Nintendo needs to step up that game, also get their support better, because there's a lot of horror stories where these guys need support and they don't hear back from Japan for like weeks, right? So you lose a lot of development time. So they definitely need to step that up. Two, put a web browser on the damn thing so people can just access their streaming. That would solve every problem right there. Put a competent browser on there. You had the Chromium mentioned, that's why people were hacking it. Just finish it, put it on there so that people can access Netflix and Hulu, whatever. You can have streaming on there, and you don't have to worry about making individual apps for it. Just that alone would fix that problem. Yeah, and I think you'll see how, because they're very subtle about it. Like we're talking about a poll on Twitter, but there's guys in Redwood City that take heavy polls and user base, and they do all sorts of data diving to get how people are playing it. So watch the marketing of what they show. If they show people more holding the Switch, then that's how people are playing it. If they show people docking it more, that's how people are playing it. They'll tailor the marketing to cater to the majority of the base. So you can look out for that.
Yeah. By the way, a little bit off topic, but still kind of on it. So right now, this guy on Twitter saying that, oh, you guys on Throwdown, it's always the same thing with Nintendo. It's always doom and gloom. I'm like, do you just like cut out Brett during all these conversations?
I know, right?
Yeah. Did you listen to what Malik was saying the whole night? Come on, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Even though I made the Buzz Kellington joke, did I really say anything bad?
No, you didn't.
Okay, so
nobody in here said that Nintendo was doing a bad job. Like
no one said that tonight. We didn't say that.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say
it was a good thing. That's just pushing buttons.
They're doing horrible.
Didn't I just say 20 minutes ago that I've been wrong about it? Come on, man.
Yes, and I said that Mario is going to be another game that breaks the freaking sell-through rate. It's going to break the sell-through rate because people are going to buy it before they even have a Switch, because it's a really accessible game and a lot of people want it. They'll buy it without the Switch thinking they'll get it soon.
Yeah. They're definitely going to outsell the Xbox this holiday season. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, and that's without question. Microsoft really screwed the pooch this year. They fucked it up.
Yeah. All right, man. By the way, Riku had a dip, so hopefully have him on next time.
Yo, man, Riku dipping.
He dipped like Batman.
Yeah, right. Like, damn, we didn't hear
nothing.
Like I would have said something. Oh well. All right. Let's move on. This one I kind of threw in here for Adam and stuff. It's interesting. So Adam, Fortnite, right? This game is also going to be Oh, you don't know? I thought you did.
No, I did. I said yeah.
Yeah, this game is also getting Player Unknown's Battlegrounds like mode, man. So I'll toss this to you first. Do you think we're going to see more games getting it? Because GTA kind of has one.
This one's got something special. This one's different. This one you can build your own fort around it, so you don't have to really run. You just build your ship and protect yourself. Really? So that might be very interesting with that option there, because then you can build your fort and you can still set traps. So that could throw a big twist in this whole formula that they have with Battlegrounds mode. I mean, right now, out of all the clones, this one seems the most interesting and has the most promise, just because of that variable of just being able to build your own fort and traps and see what happens. You don't really have to just run around and then try to find some weapons and kill people. You know? So it's gonna be good. I mean, we played Mortal Wars, and Mortal Wars is fun. You know, that's a GTA version. It's got its own twist. It's more of like Twisted Metal because I mean, you can get a weapon and run, but unless you get that rocket launcher, like we learned with Carlos,
or that railgun.
The railgun, you're really not doing much. So it sort of forces you to say, "Damn, let me go find that vehicle." You know, and then especially the vehicles that have the attachments on the back for secondary, it's like it pushes you in that direction. And hey, that's the name of it, Motor Wars. You know, so it's their twist just within cars. So we got a few more coming though. You know, got a few more coming. We got
I know a lot more coming.
Yeah, I know. But the ones that I think they'll be big, I think Ubisoft's version for Ghost Recon. Right now they're doing the 4v4, they're doing the beta. They still have to test it. They don't even have that yet. So once they see they can get that much running, it'll probably work because they have the world. If anybody who's listening play Ghost Recon, you know, you already have the parachute, you already have the planes, you already have this huge, massive world. You know what I mean? It'll work perfect. You know, so I'm sure they're going to add that. The division can benefit from something like that also because it has that open world. So, in fact, they could probably do a serious twist. They could have you show up in trains. They don't have to have you parachute. Just show up in a subway train and come out like the Warriors. Boom, boom, bam, boom, 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 bam. You know, they can go that route. That'll be awesome. You know, we're going to see a bunch of other ones probably, but I mean, right now everyone's looking at the big dogs because they're the ones that have the dev teams that could actually, you know, spit this shit out. Like, all right, you see what's going on here? Work on it. You know, I'm sure Activision's working on one of their damn studios for the 3 studios they have. They're probably working on it. You know what I mean?
Call of Duty version.
Yeah, exactly. Call of Duty version. I mean, it's still early. They're coming into it, so they're like, all right, well, we see what's going on there. It's not that difficult. It's been done before. It's just never caught on. You know, there was a game that I played not too long ago, well, maybe a few years ago, but it was like that. It was just one shot, one kill, you know, and that was it. I mean, with that one, you only had like one bullet.
Arma?
You know?
Was it Arma?
Was it Arma? Maybe it was Arma. I just remember I only had one bullet. I started off with just one bullet in the gun, and everybody did. So it's like you really had to make that shit count, you know? It's like the Chris Rock special. Man, if I get that one bullet, I'm going to kill you, get second job, and the whole thing. So... You remember that? He said it. He was like, yo, if the guns don't kill people, bullets kill people. And if they sold bullets for $10,000, he's like, you really know that person deserved it, and someone really hated him, you know, because he paid $10,000 for that bullet. But yeah, I mean, it's the big dog that we're all looking at, and I predict we'll see like 2 or 3 big ones before the year's end. You know, because already we got I received an email from Ubisoft, and I'm like, oh, season 2, or was it for the Division? One of them. I get all these damn Ubisoft emails, but it was like, oh, we're getting ready, ramped up for season 2. And I'm like, all right, here we go. You know, this is when they start launching all their other modes, and that's how you make these things grow.
Man, that's crazy to me. People are still playing Division.
Yeah, so
Division is fun. They got new maps. That's the other thing. They expanded the world.
Adam is like the biggest Division guy here.
Oh, I love the Division. I love the Division. You know, they have that shipyards or something like that. They had some new modes, and I mean, I'm always trying to get back into it. It's just everybody that I know that played it moved on.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what sucks. I mean,
yeah,
I hate the
I want to ask you, like, real quick, what do you think about the proliferation of these type of games? What is the genre of it? Is there even a genre for it yet? You know, these like kind of survival type of like the
open world survival.
It's open world survival. It's competitive PvP. That's what it is. Yeah. It's more. It's just a variation of that.
But the whole aspect that that the map shrinks, you know, like I would figure that needs to be factored in too. But anyway, do you think we're going to see any more of these, you know, in the future? I think you know, it's a yes, basically. You know.
Oh, of course,
absolutely.
Of course. It's a new hot thing. Just like we saw a whole bunch of clones of what you call Horde mode from Gears. When Gears came out and had that Horde mode, everybody and their mother started making their own version of Horde mode. You know, until this day. People still, if a multiplayer game comes out and doesn't have it, remember Titanfall when it first came out? People were like, damn, this would be great if it had a Horde mode. And they were like, oh, we didn't think of that. Oh, and then eventually it came out, but it was already too late. People moved on. You know, they added it in Titanfall 2. You know, they wised up.
Yeah,
we were playing under GTA 5 with the survival Horde mode.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's just like the open world genre to this generation, pretty much. I feel like this is just kind of another evolution, you know, as far as shooters go. Because I mean, like, I remember it was back in the day, it was just like what GTA and Saints Row. Those were like the open world games.
Yeah.
And then everything became open world. Like every freaking franchise, even Killzone was an open world game, like to a certain extent. You know, and
Just to go off of that, I remember there was a dev from Ubisoft, and they were talking about, it was one of the Assassin's Creeds, and they were like, wow, you have these massive worlds. And I was like, what is the end goal? And they were like, well, we're trying to get to the point where it's a full world, you know, where it's living and breathing. And they said eventually they wanted to do a co-op and do the whole thing. You know, and I think that with the new systems that we have now, that's why we're seeing so much of it, because I think they all had that idea. Like, damn, if only we had more power, if only we could make that online experience work. You know, if only we can do it, you know, and now it seems like it's possible. A lot of people have high-speed internet now, you know, it's there. So I think it's working. And then we're seeing the success, especially like with Grand Theft Auto. Everybody's got their eye on that. Like, damn, they're killing it with the online. Are you kidding me? That game came out in 2013, and we just talked about it. It's still in the top 5. You know what I mean? So it's like they're all exactly. So they're all seeing it. So that's why it's going to keep going until they see that no one's playing in these worlds. You know, then they're not going to do it. But right now, that's why they're all doing it. I mean, I'm really surprised that this new Assassin's Creed Origin is not a fully open world. I really thought that's where they're going to go in, and I think it's going to hurt them because it just seems like another Assassin's Creed. You know, I really thought they were going to, since we saw with the Division, we saw with the Ghost Recon, we saw their development of what they're doing, and you see their success with it. They're making dough. You know, so it's like it only made sense. This dead, like I said, that damn, I forgot which version it was. It was an older one, but that's what his goal was. You know, he wanted to have that big, vibrant world where it's like, you know, you can see one of your assassin buddies on the other side of the map. You know what I mean?
You could meet up with Unity.
Was it Unity? Yeah, it was probably Unity because remember they introduced a co-op with that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And they really wanted to make this world. So it's like if it was France, you know, not just Paris, but all of France, then you could have somebody in other parts of France. It's like, yo, where are you? It's like, all right, well, let's meet up in so and so area. You know what I mean? And then I'll help you out do missions, like we see with the Division, like we see with Ghost Recon. We know they know how to do it. You know, Assassin's Creed fit perfect. It's been doing that open, sort of semi-open world for the longest time. You know, so when this came out, I don't think it's going to sell. I honestly don't think it's going to sell. I think a lot of people are just going to see it as like, oh, this is another Assassin's Creed. Okay, in Egypt, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they milk that shit too much, man.
Yeah, man. They every year.
I do want to give a shout out to Fortnite real quick because I feel like Fortnite is a great game. It's just the end game kind of wasn't really there. It seemed like you were just kind of doing the same thing, and them adding this mode just gives it more life. I'm so happy that kind of like what Adam was saying earlier. It's kind of, I feel like, you know, after having a couple matches, it rivals PUBG. It rivals it. Straight up.
Yep.
Yeah,
and they just lowered the price. I think they put it for like $29 or something on sale. Wow. They made this announcement and they put it for $29.
Hey, that price is what helped pub too, you know.
That price helped a lot of people. You see a lot of games coming at $29 now. I think that they're realizing that
every game needs to be $60, man.
Exactly. You know?
So is Fortnite worth it, considering it's going to eventually be a free-to-play game and has a price tag attached to it? I've been curious as to whether or not they give you incentives or bonuses for buying in early, or if it's just you're paying extra for early access.
Does anybody know the answer to that?
I didn't know they were going to do the whole free-to-play.
Yeah, it's supposed to be free-to-play.
They started at a price right off the bat. I mean, it never got to that point. But I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, quick shout out to Daniel Lawson who threw $10 our way, man. Appreciate that, bro.
Make that money.
To go.
Yeah, but Malik, I want to ask you about the competitive tip because it feels like these sort of games could be really, really good for, like, you know, MLG and stuff like that. You know, so what do you think about, you know, that potential?
I mean, there's definitely potential there. It's a lot more exhilarating to watch, like from a spectator standpoint. That really is what it comes down to. It's like, are people going to watch it? People like watching PUBG. You know, I mean, the game blew up on Twitch, just from people spectating, and especially when you get good personalities, kind of like, you know, talking from their perspective, you kind of get their raw emotion as they're going through like these very tense moments. I think that's really cool.
But Malik, sometimes we don't want too much raw emotion, if you know what I'm saying.
I feel what you're saying. You don't want too much. You don't want too much of it. But it's been kind of fun watching different people play that game. And I think during Gamescom they had like that tournament, and that was actually pretty interesting to watch too. So I mean, we seen games try this, like other open world games, like H1Z1. They tried.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of like H1Z1 stick, you know, like they had people like Rick Fox hooked. Rick Fox like got a team, you know, he's in the esports now. So
God, all of this is just a ripoff of DayZ. Okay, I've said it.
I was about to say that, Brett.
Yep.
You're right. You're right. Which is what
called this shit like 5 years ago.
And DayZ's an armor mod, right? Or started off that way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all like it's all taken from that. Which
Player Unknown did that
sad
mod
for them, but I'm just excited to see I want to see somebody just go all out, man. Put all their money into it and just make something complete. And I feel like we're gonna see it. You know, might see it on the Xbox One X first. You know, they're getting PUBG. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think
maybe there'll be a PUBG. I think PUBG is going to be like their de facto exclusive.
They're smart. They're real smart. Microsoft is real smart with this whole thing because you notice just the timing of like, oh yeah, we got PUBG coming. Oh, by the way, we're gonna have mouse and keyboard support coming too. You know, because they want to make sure that's like, damn, if you already have that version, you've been doing a PC thing, and you do have an Xbox on the side, because most people that just have an extra console, whatever. But like, yo, I can plug in my keyboard and mouse, so I don't really have to do the whole controller and all that stuff. They're slick. They're going to get a lot of people to cross over on that.
Yeah, I guess expect. But it is funny. It's like if you go back, like all this really all came from DayZ. You know, and the DayZ guys never really got their shit together, so everybody else jumped on board. You know, very interesting, man. Yeah. All right.
I want to shout out one game. I don't know if anybody knows about this game. It's called Urban Chaos. It was on PlayStation. It was an open world game. A lot of people slept on that game completely. But it was the first open world action game before GTA 3 that I played.
Oh, okay.
And it just kind of fell out of wayside. I don't know, maybe because it had a African American protagonist. People really weren't checking for it. But
yeah, back in the day.
If anybody gets a chance, look up Urban Chaos. I mean, it really didn't age well, so don't try to play it. But just take a look. You know?
See, when you said when you said the name of that game, I was thinking like, you mean State of Emergency? Like that's the first thing my mind went to. You know, it's crazy. Cool. Yeah, check that out. All right, and the last thing, this is interesting because we talked about LawBreakers before. So Cliffy B, you know, he was being interviewed by the game, and he said that he was actually, you know, humbled by the reception because obviously the game didn't do very well, you know, on Steam and stuff. At the time, I got this article from PlayStation Lifestyle, and they said at the time of their writing, it was 218 people playing it on Steam. You know. Not a lot of people, but Cliffy B did say something interesting that no one covered. He goes, yeah, the game isn't doing well on Steam, but it is actually doing well on the PS4, you know? So it's not like the game was a complete bomb or anything, and the game's going to keep getting support and stuff, but he did admit, like, yeah, I was expecting the game to just be a hit right out of the gate. That's not what happened, so he's going to listen to the community more because, for example, the game didn't launch with Team Deathmatch purely because he was like, everybody else is doing Team Deathmatch. We ain't doing that shit. And then people were like, where the fuck is the Team Deathmatch? You know? So yeah, let's go to Malik first, man. What do you think about, you know, LawBreakers and stuff? Like, you know, how that, you know, what you think of it before it came out? And then what do you think about the reception to it when it did drop?
I played the beta version a lot, PC and mainly console. I think it's a great game, man. Like it's a skill-based shooter. In a day and age where they water down a lot of the shooters to make them more accessible, it was very refreshing to play that game. You know, it felt like a true, arena shooter in a sense, and I enjoyed. I stopped playing it when it first came out because the servers weren't that great. It seems like they're starting to fine tune all that stuff. I typically wait for developers to work out kinks in like multiplayer or competitive shooters when there's problems like that. But I think it's a great game. I think that it's going to have a life, man. It's going to be a slow burn, kind of similar to like what Rainbow Six Siege experienced. Rainbow Six Siege is like kind of it's the shits now, man. And we're in like the third year of that game being released. So
man, I gotta say, I was really surprised that it didn't take off right off the bat because it really grabs that essence of Counter-Strike, you know, with improvements of like shooting through walls and working as a team, you know, and Rainbow Six was very popular on the previous console. So I was surprised. I mean, it had some issues and stuff, but a lot of people eventually jumped on because it was that whole detachment of like, what do you mean there's no story? What do you mean I always have to play online? What do you know? And once people got comfortable making that switch, you know, they were like, all right, I can do this, and this worked out.
Well, you know, that helped it a lot, you know. Once it got on Twitch, forget about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, LawBreakers, I don't think that game's going anywhere anytime soon, you know, but it is kind of interesting. Even Cliffy admitted, he was like, yeah, I was kind of being a little bit of a dick thinking this thing was going to be like the biggest thing ever, you know.
He was feeling his own force right there.
He underestimated Overwatch. That was the thing. A lot of people underestimated Overwatch. No one thought it was going to kill it the way it has been and what it's doing now.
Yeah,
and nobody saw that coming.
Right. I mean, we do got to take into account that there's a skill gap in that game and LawBreakers. Like, you can play Overwatch and you can pretty much be anyone and find a kind of way to fit yourself or your play style into Overwatch. When you're playing a game like LawBreakers, it takes a little bit of time to adjust to playing that game. And I feel like that might have been intimidating to a lot of people. You see like these dudes flying in the air shooting behind themselves. You're kind of like, I can't do all that. I'll just stick to being a support. I'll play Lucio and skate on the walls. You know, that's much easier.
You know, yeah. Do you think that may be one of the reasons the game didn't really like blow up because it takes a lot of skill? Dudes are used to playing Call of Duty.
I don't even think it got to that point because there was a lot of people that just didn't even care. Like if you read some of the I mean, it sucks to even bother, but like when you read comments and stuff like that on Metacritic, and people are like, why? There's no reason to jump on this. I already have that game that scratches that itch. It's Overwatch. You know what I mean? So we saw what happened with Gearbox with their version. You know, and then that just bombed right out the gate. You know, and now they just added some skins for Borderlands characters in there. I think that's going to boost it, but they really didn't expect it to bomb. I mean, they had a whole like 2-year plan of supporting it and doing all this stuff, and it just did nothing. You know, Overwatch is just dominating that market right now.
Yeah, man. When I saw that game, I said, man, I already have a game like that. It's called Team Fortress 2.
Oh, everybody had that, but that wasn't even that. There you go. When Overwatch came, I'm like, but Team Fortress is it didn't matter. I guess people were ready for something new.
But yeah, Overwatch. I mean, everyone was surprised by how big Overwatch became, and people aren't ready to move past that. It's still continuing. It's still extremely popular, and it's not going anywhere. So when you release clones, like you know how we back in the day we used to have those Halo killers. You know, like oh, this is a Halo killer, this is a Halo killer, but Halo just reigned supreme for so long, and that's what
Killzone was supposed to be that Halo killer. Everybody was like, "Oh, Killzone! Yo, did you see that trailer? Did you see that E3 trailer? That's not real gameplay." Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. You remember that? Everybody remember that shit.
Yeah. So, it's unfortunate because this game does look like it's really well made. So, hopefully, it has some audience, and yeah, like it's hard to compete against Overwatch right now.
Yeah, I think the identity thing is a big thing. A lot of people see LawBreakers and they automatically think it's like an Overwatch clone or an Overwatch competitor. And I mean, in a sense it is because it's another, team-based shooter. But there's such different games and they require just such a different mindset. Like there's a lot of like precision, a lot of timing, and just a lot of like a little less coordination from a team standpoint when you play LawBreakers than like Overwatch, which is pretty much like 100% team-based. Like you and the team have to be in sync. You go for the wipe and you move forward. And I don't know, man. I agree with you guys. It's sad, man, but like I think LawBreakers over time people will pick up on that game, especially with the fact that I don't think the community on LawBreakers is as toxic, man. And that's kind of been one thing about Overwatch. I love Overwatch. I'm wearing the hoodie right now. I props to Overwatch and everything, but the community, like Jeff Kaplan just came out this week with a video like yesterday talking about how toxic the community has been. And I feel like over time that can be exhausting, man. A lot of people might be looking for something new. So
that's the thing. It happens to any popular game. You get the knuckleheads, they jump in, and that's just what happens. It sucks. Once something becomes popular and everybody's on it, the good, the bad, the ugly, they're all there. So then that's when you're like, you know what? I got my friends, I got my groups, and those are the only people I play with.
Yeah, but I feel like in Overwatch, you find yourself fighting your teammates more than you find yourself actually fighting the other team, and you don't get that as much in LawBreakers. Like you're a little less reliant on your teammates, for support than like if you're playing Overwatch and your Mercy is like not healing you or your Lucio's like riding around the wall, not really helping people or whatever the case. Your DPS is not shooting anything. Like you're going to get mad at your teammate because of that. And I feel like that's the thing with Overwatch. LawBreakers is not like that. You play. And I feel like at the end of the day, once people kind of get a grasp on that fact and find that, LawBreakers is its own game, it'll get more popular.
Yeah.
Depends on when that happens.
I'm glad you bring up the whole toxicity thing because that was when I woke up this morning, right? I always check my emails and stuff, and my editor sent that story to me. He's like, Tony, can you write about this? So basically, what's going on? This is very interesting. So Kaplan said that the toxicity in that game is so bad, it's actually hampering game development. Like they can't get to the shit they want to do, like adding more modes and shit like that, adding new cutscenes or whatever, because they have to like constantly monitor their community and shit. So that's the first time I heard that, online trolls are affecting the gameplay in the sense that they can't add more shit to it like they want to, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
well, most of them, just like we see it online, community managers, social media managers. They have to hire more staff. They need staff just to monitor that, just like you would have any other group. It's like, all right, we're watching this. Here's the knuckleheads. Let me get them out. I'm seeing a lot of issues from these guys. Let me take a look at their profile, see what they're doing. All right, let me jump in a match with them and just say hi and see if they curse me out. And that's it. That's what they need to do. But again, all that takes time and money. We talked about this before. It's like, do they want to put the time and money into that? Most of the time they don't. Yeah. It's all about like, well, we need the money on this dev team, this and that. I was like, but what about somebody just to monitor all the shit? They say, fuck it, the community will fix itself out. People will just ban them, block them, and then we'll leave that up to PSN or Xbox Live. Let them deal with it. They have their own rating system. If people really hate them, give them bad reviews, and then let them deal with it.
Yeah, but you can't really regulate people like that. They're gonna be assholes. But I guess you could be like, hey, if you don't want to deal with that bullshit, you could play some LawBreakers.
Yeah. I think it's cool that Jeff Kaplan like spoke up and like acknowledged the fact that there is toxicity like for like the kids, and he kind of like for anybody who's impressionable, I feel like they watched that video and they're probably like, man, maybe I do need to tone it down a little bit, But I wish. When I was watching that video, I was like, dang, he's not really providing any like solid solutions for what they're going to do about this. And there's really nothing you can do. Like Emilio was saying, like there's nothing you can really do about it. You just kind of got to just deal with it, man. And just kind of like, like for me, I stay in like party chat if I'm playing or on Discord if I'm on PC with my friends, and I just don't deal with that. People typing, I'm like, I ignore it. Kind of have to.
Yeah, I've been like that ever since this entire generation. I don't really go into public rooms like that. Just go into a private chat and you're straight, you don't have to deal with that nonsense. But it sucks though, because, people that just want to play the game with, like, let's just be honest. Some people are going to have a lot of friends. They just want to play with other people, and then they have to hear all this bullshit, but that's part of the internet, I guess,
My most frustrating thing about Overwatch is when I'm playing and like, I hang with a lot of the pro players because of my job. So like, I know a little bit about Overwatch and like what to do. But if I open my mouth in a public room about it, they'd be like, "Shut up, nigga! Like, what are you talking about?"
Man.
And it's probably automatically assumed because I'm black. Like I'm probably.
You've been playing Street Fighter,
man? Nah, but like people make the assumption like, "Oh, this dude's black. He doesn't know. Like he's not." There's that. That's a whole nother discussion to have. But it's kind of frustrating to just deal with that and to have to rely on other people so much, and Overwatch is that game where you just rely on others a lot, and it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. But by the way, I guess because of the way I talk, I always get hit with that too, man. I get called and I'm like, man. Damn, man. I'm like, I'm Dominican, but that shit kind of hurts a little, So, I'm not gonna get into it, but it's fucking stupid, man. Stay in your private chats, people. Don't fuck around with randoms, man. All right, man. So that's gonna pretty much do it for us. So, go ahead.
Really quick,
Brian,
I didn't say anything.
Hey, Brian, you actually stopped playing Warframe, man.
Yeah, I got shit to do today. No.
Yeah. What's up, brother?
And in terms of what's it called again? The game that we're talking about. That's the one. Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to pick up because it came in like a market that's already just oversaturated with like games, and it's not doing anything unique enough to stand out from everything else. Because we already have like the big ones like Overwatch and Team Fortress, and even have stuff like Paladins, the other one that was shown at the PS4 Pro launch, whatever that was, and then there's Gigantic and all sorts. It's like
we got Call of Duty. Call of Duty's coming.
Too much stuff going on. Like I don't think it is enough to stand out. Oh, and Battleborn. I feel about that. Like it's just way too much stuff to compete with, and it's just going to just be quiet. Like I don't think it will ever just pick up. Ever. Like I think like it now is as big as it's going to get because chances are like Cliffy B and his guys they'll just see how much it's not making money and how not great it is, and then it's just gonna be like, okay, cool, you know what? Let's just drop it there. And also because Cliffy B is a massive liar as well.
Oh shit.
Yep, he said no, wait. He said in an interview that he's not going to do what all games do and release a bullshit demo and call it a beta a couple of weeks before launch. And someone tell me the launch date of LawBreakers and the date of the open beta that they had, and tell me that Cliffy B is not a liar.
Oh man, I do remember him saying that. That's right.
The internet remembers Cliffy B. The internet remembers. And also, where the hell's Unreal Tournament? Like, that's one reason why I'm not touching LawBreakers. It's like, okay, cool. It looks like Unreal Tournament, but it's not. So, no, I want Unreal Tournament. End off.
It'll be a free PlayStation Plus game at some point, and everybody get
right.
I'm not even going to touch it. If for free, I'm not going to touch it. I'm like, nope.
Does Epic still own Unreal Tournament? Because I know he doesn't.
No, that's Epic.
Yeah, they own it, so it would be up to them to do it.
It was in beta at some point, but it's gone quiet since then. But yeah, I'm just not touching it because I want my Unreal Tournament. Like, Unreal Tournament does it's pretty much just Quake, and those games don't exist anymore. And the reason why I'm not jumping in
Quake back,
New Quake Champion or whatever just came out or is coming out.
Yeah, okay. Did you hear me when I said that I want Unreal Tournament? I said I want Unreal Tournament. I always said I want Quake. Like, no,
Yeah,
I want Unreal Tournament. So hence why it's like, okay, like, no matter what game comes out, like, unless it's Unreal Tournament, I don't give a shit. Like, bring out your Overwatches, your Team Fortress, LawBreakers, Paladins, whatever. It's not Unreal. If it's not Unreal, then I'm not fucking with it. That's it.
I admit I haven't played Unreal Tournament in a long time, but I used to play it religiously. That and Quake 2. Like, Quake 2 Capture the Flag was like the best experience. Quake Champions ain't gonna live up to that, by the way.
It ain't.
So.
Yeah. By the way, Brian, you're sounding like me when it comes to racing games and Burnout. I'm like, listen, I'm not fucking on with racing games anymore.
Just
give me Burnout already.
Same here, man. What the hell is Burnout?
Yeah, where is it? You know, the only other substitute I'll take is Need for Speed for obvious reasons. You know, Brian, you can feel me on that. You know, but it's like
Club Edition. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go, man.
I did hear that Criterion was the ones working on the Battlefront 2 multiplayer, which I thought was quite odd. So I'm like, no, yay, they're doing the wrong job. Give them like 50 million, give them a couple of cars, and let them do the rest.
Oh, man. Anyway, by the way, quick shout out to my man Tracy. He was in the chat room with us. You know, big shout out to my man. You know, also go check out his new EP, man, Rare Form. You know,
oh, fancy,
it's dope.
Yeah, man. All right, so that's gonna pretty much do it for us. So, Malik, man, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. Fucking always awesome having you on, dude.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been good talking to you guys. Hopefully I can come on again. Chat again.
Yeah, man. The door's over. Yo, this is how it works, people. So you guys don't know. Malik asked me if he could be on. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, you got the keys, bro. You know, just hop in anytime. You know what time we go on. But yeah, let everybody know where they can find you and what to look forward to from you in the next couple months.
Oh yeah, at Malik Forté on Twitter, Instagram. That's my PSN. That's like my universal thing. At Malik _Forté, and then I guess in the next couple months, I'm just gonna be releasing some music. I got a song with Treasy, as a matter of fact, it's gonna be coming out soon. Treasy, shout out to him in the chat. And then on top of that, BlizzCon, which is coming up at the beginning of November. You know, I'll be doing that, so I'll be definitely talking some Overwatch while I'm there. I'm gonna remember everything that was said on this episode. And I'm gonna relay the message. But that's pretty much it, man. And now, yeah, PlayStation Experience in December. I will be there. Hopefully, I'll see some of you there.
Yeah, I'll be there, brother. I'm there, man.
Right up.
Yeah,
and he's there right now.
Yeah, but I'm there right now. It's funny about okay, because there's some people that like when I go to conventions, we have to like meet you, we have to plan a meetup. I always run into Malik every time, so we don't even need to do that every time, man. Right. It's crazy.
Like, I remember E3, we actually got time to hang out in the hotel room and just like decompress the first day. Like that was cool. So.
Yeah, man, that was great because you know, I'll tell the story real quick. So you know, you and I, we bumped into each other. You had your crew and stuff, and you were talking, but I could still tell you were kind of in that official mode, right? Like we were just talking kind of surface level. As soon as I asked you about what you thought about the Xbox conference, you like broke down like, yo, come up to the hotel room, man. We talking. You know?
You know how the JW Marriott be, man. It's just it'd be so many people down there. And I'm like, yo, I just want to like, I want to talk about what's going on. I don't want to talk about I don't want to do no networking. I want to talk about what happened today. So
yeah. Exactly. Cool. So that was good, man. You know, meeting my man Barry out there. I always run into Barry too. That's the other guy, you know. I'm glad I didn't have to watch over his fucking luggage this time. Manny, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Malik, you already know, man. It's like, yo, why are you always carrying all this shit, man?
That guy, man. Yo, he take the world with him. The Nintendo Switch was a save for him because if it wasn't for the Switch, he's the type who would carry his console everywhere.
Man,
everywhere he goes. So
yeah,
shouts out to Barry around. That's the guy.
Always, man, always. All right, so a couple of things before we do wrap up. So the episode of Ask TK where I answer fan questions is now live to everybody. So please go check that out. That was a really cool episode. I tossed it up on our playlist, you know, Throwdown crossover. Check that out. A lot of fun stuff. And also, I got to shill a little bit of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So we have a live stream up right now that me and Manny did of the game and stuff, which is doing really well for us. And an unboxing. Let me see if I can get this thing into the camera. This, you know, the collector's edition. And
La caja.
La caja, you know. And obviously, we're going to stream more of the game on Monday when the embargo lifts. And my write-up will be available on geek.com. So check that out, please. And with that, we want to thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. And tonight was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys. Sorry it was a little quiet, but you'll eventually see why.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
With all this Blizzard talk, just go play Heroes of the Storm. Forget about Overwatch, guys.
This is a great game. Yo, Malik, man, Carlos plays that shit every day, man. At least 1 hour every day, man.
It's a good game. I ain't mad at him.
You know, Brian Manjoma.
Go play video games and watch it. It's actually not that bad.
Brett Murdoch.
As always, it's been real, people.
Adam Vale.
Metroid Samus Returns is now live. So everybody can play right now.
Man, the UPS guy fucked up my shit, man. Like he said I wasn't home today. I was home, so I got to wait for tomorrow. And my man, Malik Forté.
He said Metroid's out, so I'm out. Peace.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time, man. Peace.
Later, guys.
Later.
Deuces.